What are the 7 steps to buy a business? In this video, I'll be talking about the 7 proven steps that you need to follow if you want to buy a business. And I'll also talk about 2 steps that come at the end after buying a business, which no one ever talks about for some reason. So, what are the 7 steps? The first step is to specify your deal, to have deal specification. We do this with my clients through a TAP, target acquisition profile. You need to come up with a particular profile as to what kind of business you want to buy. And that all comes down to what do you want to do as well. So do you want to grow an empire or do you want to exit? Because there could be some differences in your specification stage when you're creating your target acquisition profile, which are affected by whether you want to build an empire or whether you want to have an exit. And also there's other considerations when it comes down to that. But in any case, the first step to buy a business is to have a good deal specification, a target acquisition profile, what I call TAP, to go out and profile these businesses. Number 2 is search. So searching for a business is, of course, a necessary step because you need to find a good business which fits around your target acquisition profile, around the specification that you've created to go out and buy. And for most people, you want to stick in the industry that you know. Don't go outside of the industry, especially for your first deal, second deal, maybe even your third deal. First and second deal, without a doubt, you need to stick to those things that you know. So if you're a business owner at the moment, go and buy another business which is exactly the same as yours, just for growth. If, for example, you're a brand new person who is maybe looking to allocate resources for an acquisition, then you need to buy a business that you have some experience in, whether that's from a job or whether that's as a consumer and you're really interested in about those businesses or that type. Maybe you've got a fantastic hobby and you want to buy a business within that, then you need to have some knowledge to go out and buy that. So searching for a business that you understand from the specification that you've created is really, really important and the necessary step to go and buy a business. The third thing that you need to do is you need to create your deal team. So your deal team is really important because buying a business isn't a single man job. A single person can't go out and buy a business successfully. Now that doesn't mean that you can't be the 100% shareholder or owner of the business when you ultimately close on it. What it does mean is that you need to have a group of people around you to ensure that they help you to ensure you're buying the right type of business. Because it's all well and good creating the TAP, having a good specification. It's all well and good searching and finding, for example, 2 or 3 possible businesses that you can buy. But how are you going to ensure that there is a good business to buy and to ensure that you've got the right people to go out and execute on that deal? So creating a deal team is really important. The next thing you need to do is that once you've identified a few businesses, you need to make offers. So you need to make offers which are good for you as a business buyer, as well as the business seller, of course, because of course if it's not a good offer for them, then they won't be able to sell the business to you. And there's so many motivations as to why people want to sell. Of course, on my channel, I talk to business buyers and sellers, and there's so many different motivations that you may have when a person wants to sell a business. So you need to identify that motivation and you need to make an offer which is good for you as a business buyer, because ultimately if you don't make a good offer which is good for you, you're going to be in problems later on. Once you make an offer and the offer has been accepted, you want to go out and finance that deal. Now, I talked to with my coaching clients about this, about how you need to finance and how you need to make offers and how they work with each other. But generally speaking, you can get financing from multiple places. The first place that you should always get some financing from is the seller themselves. So the person who is selling the business will be able to offer some sort of seller finance. And to be perfectly truthful, if they're not offering any element of seller finance, then you need to walk away from that business, because you need to think to yourself, is that why is this person want the cash on day one and they want to run away, right? When I say run away, that's how I think. When I'm talking to my clients who are buying businesses, they go, why does this person want to run away? And when I'm advising my people who are selling businesses, of course, talking about business exits a lot as well, is that you have to have confidence in your business that your business can continue without you. And the way that you give confidence to a buyer is by offering seller finance. Now, what's the amount of seller finance which is offered is again down to negotiation. So if you're looking to buy a business, financing can be done from the seller, number 1. Number 2 and 3, you've got lenders and you've got investors. So and you've got your own retained capital. When I say investors, you're a business at the moment and you've got retained earnings within your business, of course, that can be allocated to an acquisition. And that just reduces debt burden and reduces the amount of fragility around your business acquisition. Again, only if you've got retained earnings can you do that. Otherwise, you need to go out to outside investors and outside lenders to do that. But there's a way that the offers and the financing work together. But you can get your deal financed as long as you're not buying a crappy business. And I talk about crappy businesses in other videos. After you've got all that done, then you go through due diligence, which is the next stage. That's the 6th step out of the 7 steps. You need to go through due diligence to ensure that the business that you are buying is the actual business which is being sold. Because of course, a business owner or a broker can present a business in any way, but it's only through due diligence that you can really understand whether that business actually stands up to scrutiny. And that when you close on that business and once your business has been purchased, that's the actual business which they presented is the actual business that you're buying. So due diligence is really important. And again, that's where the deal team comes in. If you're a business owner at the moment and you're buying within your industry, then you're the industry expert. But if you're buying outside of your industry, then you maybe need to hire some other people who know that industry. And that's why, again, building your deal team is so important. Your DD is conducted by your lawyers and your accountant. And again, they're part of your deal team who will go out to carry out the due diligence on the business that you're buying. And finally, once all of that is done, once you've made your offer, once you've got the financing, once you've done your due diligence, then you close the business, which is step number 7 and the final step of buying the actual business. So now you've bought a business through these 7 steps of deal specification, search, deal team, making an offer, getting the financing, going through due diligence, and you've closed on the business. What happens next? This is really important. You need to have, these are the first of the 2 steps which happen afterwards, which no one ever talks about. And this is so important. It's integral to the success of the business. Because why have you bought a business? You've bought a business so you can put cash in your pocket, right? The way you can ensure that that business continues to operate in the way that it needs to operate is you need to have a fantastic integration process. If you're buying a business for the first time and you don't have a business at the moment, the integration of that business is going to be different to a business owner who's buying a business within the same industry. And equally, it'll be different for a business owner who's buying within a different industry. Equally, it's going to be different if you're doing a empire build. Equally, it's going to be different if you're doing a roll-up or a buy and build. It's going to be different if you're doing a conglomerate. There's so many different factors which go into the integration. But integration is absolutely key because a business is a collection of people who make a product or a service available to the market, and it's only through people that a business can operate in any meaningful way. And again, I talk about buying businesses which are good, profitable businesses, and you want to stay away from one-man bands. So the first step, unknown step, is integration. The second thing is, of course, you want to grow that business, because when you buy a business, let's say you buy a business which is doing 300,000 in profit. If you're buying that business and it's doing 300,000 in profit, you want to grow it to 400 and 500, because the more you can grow the profits of the business, then the more you can put in your pocket, and the higher DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, you end up with, which is always good for you when you are going through that process of paying down your investors and lenders. So the integration and the growing of that business is really, really important. And finally, do you want to buy another business? Do you want to repeat the process? Some people are okay just buying one business and they just want to have that one business and that's fine. Some people, they want to go out and buy multiple. Like me, for example, I go out and I buy multiple businesses. I'm not there just to buy one business. So multiple businesses means that you want to repeat the process and you get better and better within the business buying process itself, and you get better and better within the industries that you buy in. That's why you should really stick to one industry. But again, that's your choice, whether you've got how big a deal team you've got. Remember, those who need to do want to do a conglomerate, you need to have a wider team of expertise around you to ensure that you can execute on that. But that's, again, a conversation for the people who want the coaching with me.